hey, it'll take 2 minutes for you to write this, but it won't take 2 minutes. We are not robots, we are not AI, right? 30,000 entry level salary as a copywriter. Yeah, Bombay should pay well. 40% is what I tell people to ask for. AI is handicapped in a way without human assistance. They might only understand traditional ways of advertising. They might not understand these modern ways of what we are doing.
Welcome to In My Diary podcast. Today we have Neelam with us. She's a ACD for copy. She has 12 years of experience in copywriting. So she is joining today to share something interesting in this podcast. Welcome Neelam. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Raj.
Neelam, I like to discuss more about the copy in today's topic. When you decide that you are going to do copywriting?
So it's actually a very long story. I actually didn't want to start with copywriting. As a student, my languages were stronger than any other subject. So, and English being the strongest of them all. I studied Hindi and Marathi also. They are strong, but they're not as good as English. So, I was like, okay, fine, let's study English. But that was not my priority. I actually wanted to become a fashion designer. Circumstances weren't great, so I couldn't get into fashion designing. But I did do animation. Unfortunately or not, around the time when I got out of my animation diploma, there was recession going on in 2008. So a lot of these animation studios were not hiring freshers because they didn't want to risk it, and they were hiring people with 5+ years of experience. My batch and the previous and the next batch along with me were all struggling to find our footing in animation. So then we went our own ways. I was anyway studying literature. I mean, my college had literature. I had other subjects also. Not interested in economics or social studies. So I was like, okay, what next? There was psychology, but again, I didn't want to travel to study that. So I was like, okay, English is my strong. So this college has English. Let's go ahead with English. So I completed my degree in literature. Then I did a few odd jobs like callings in BPO and everything. English calling, I didn't want to do anything else. So then I just didn't find that very fun, so to say. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break and let's see what's made for me. Then I uploaded my resume on Naukri, and one of my very first organizations, called me for an interview. They did a lot of logic tests, general knowledge, all of that, and then they said that I was fit for social media exec. You manage reports, you manage social media posts for brands, and digital was pretty new around that time. So I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's see what happens. But then I realized there is a separate section for copywriting. Somebody else writes copies. Even though I was not happy, I was like, okay, fine, if somebody else writing, then fine. But then I was like, why should I not do writing, right? Because my background was English literature. So I was like, okay, let me ask them, let me request if I should get into copywriting. They said, hey, do a bit of this and bit of that. But I was like, no, I want to complete copywriting. So then I switched and I completely got into copywriting from then onwards. So it wasn't a conscious decision, but fate, as you would say.
I'm wondering, when you did that animation thing?
This was in 2008. So,
after degree you did that, before?
With degree, second year and third year of college, I was doing that in correspondence.
So do you still know that animation thing?
I don't, because obviously I've been out of touch. I haven't gone back to say let me try my hand at it, but I would love to do it. If I don't know if it's boasting or not, but I kind of understand visuals better because of my animation background is what I understand. So it's easier for me to marry visual and copy and bring out a post together. So that's what has helped me in my career in a way, but I'm not full-fledged into it. I do use Canva.
Okay, that's the easiest way to create more things.
Yeah.
So in the 12 years, how many companies you worked on?
Started with Meeram, which used to be called Social Wavelength. That was 3 years, and I learned a lot of things. And then from senior content writer, I did a mix of content and copy over there. So from senior content writer to copywriter to group head content was what my designations were over there. After BC Webwise, I went to Ting. 2 years. Most of COVID was spent over there. Then I didn't want to go back to traveling via train. So I was like, okay, let me switch cities and let me live closer to work, because obviously we all know Mumbai rent is very high. I couldn't stay closer to work. I used to travel 3 hours every day to and from work. So that was Ting. Moved to Bangalore. I actually switched around December 2021. But then I moved to Bangalore in April. So I switched to Social Panga.
Can you tell me the first job experience? Like you moved to copy from social media. So how was it?
I somewhat almost wrote copy for a few of my brands then, right? So it wasn't like a major change. But yeah, I didn't have to do reports weekly. We used to go to Facebook Insights and get numbers for posts that went out, and we didn't really have like insight tools then. Like it was still starting, right? Everybody was still starting to get to know how digital works. So so a lot of reports. I am proud to say that my clients were happy with the reports that I used to make. I have gotten a lot of appreciation for that. Timely and detailed reports. That was what I did. There was a lot of posting. There was ORM that I did, but copywriting didn't have all of that. I had to be specific about what the brand has to say when I got into copywriting. So yeah, I did understand what copywriting was, but then when I got into it, that's when I understood that it's not just writing anything. It's not just writing in your tonality. You have to understand the brand, you have to understand the TG, you have to understand what the product is and what solution is it providing, what problem it is solving for the TG, and as well as the brand, right? I mean, it goes hand in hand. You have to do something for the target audience, but eventually you're also doing things for your brand, right? So it wasn't like I'm using my tonality to write. I have to understand all of these things to be able to write for the brand. And luckily for me, I started with a lot of food brands, and I being a foodie, I'm sure you know. It was easy. It came easy to me. The words, the way I feel about food was going out on the brand, but again in their tonality. So all of that learning happened when I started doing copywriting full-fledged. It was very different from, it wasn't a daily report making or just posting or just talking to consumers or getting bashed by consumers in some occasions. So yeah, that's how it was different.
Okay, at the time the social media platforms are very few, like comparatively right now, right? So what are the platforms you used to work for?
Facebook and Twitter, and YouTube was there, but again we were not into making videos. We were mostly uploading videos, adding titles, descriptions, tags to that. But then Instagram came, and again formats also changed from static. Then they added GIFs, then they added videos, then they added reels and all of that. I mean, obviously reels is pretty recent, but stories and all. So yeah, it was just static in the beginning, and then static plus GIF, and then the other formats just kept getting added to the long list of things.
Okay, like initially, like in 2018, 2010, like I don't think there are much audience in the social media platforms. Like right now, almost 50% of people present in the social medias. Like, do you read the feedbacks, not the feedback, comments, if anyone is appreciating the copy or like that, your work? Do you follow up the brand's posts?
Yes, I do. I mean, it's easier to understand what the people like or don't like basis the comments and the likes that you get, right? The traction that you get on the post is going to tell you whether it's going to work or not for the brand, whether it is working or not for the audience as well. So, you have to keep going back to what you have done so that that this is how what I have to do, or this is how what I have to make better than what I did the last time. So yes, you have to keep going back. And I'm very particular, again, extending this point, very particular about QC. I am sure the people who have worked with me, who are working with me and who worked with me in the past will agree that QC is very important, and I'm very strict about the right copying going out, because I am sure people have seen people have seen people trolling brands just because there was a mistake. There is an extra space. People have made memes about there are 2 extra spaces. Then they'll take a screenshot, they'll sketch something, and then they'll send it back. A lot of things have happened where errors have blown out of proportion and have become a cause of concern for brands.
Do you think it's another way of making people engage?
Some brands do use mistakes to to their benefit, to their advantage, but the other brands are very, they feel that it's bad that this has happened and people have trolled us, and maybe their PR is bad, I don't know, but they don't take it well. So a lot of times agencies have to bear the brunt of these errors. People have been fired because of these errors, but yeah, there is a way to play safe by taking it light. There are brands who take it light and they're like, hey, it's human to make errors, right? I personally would suggest agencies and brands to be chill about it. I mean, we are not robots, we are not AI, right? We are humans, we make errors. But I know there is, while I say that, QC is important and we shouldn't make errors, I know that there is no chance ever that you can make 0 errors, right? I'm not saying every day there should be 1 error and we should be okay about it, but once in a while it is okay to make an error. It's totally fine. You're making humans work. I mean, they will make mistakes. Even while you're typing, simple errors that even I have made. When you type you and your, and you sometimes read it the way you have written it, right? But there are mistakes. I mean, you write 2 U's instead of you and your, and then you will ignore that error because you're reading it the way you thought you had written, right? So yeah, that is one of the things that, don't make errors, but don't even be hard on yourself. That's what I would like to say.
Your experience, I guess you came across at least 100 plus brands, right? Like how many brands you worked on?
Oh, a lot. I don't have a count of
like
brands.
Approximately 100 plus, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Tell me one particular brand, like if you're okay, you love to work with them.
I do answer this question in a lot of interviews, and I would like to say this was a brand at Ting. It was called OPI India. It's a nail lacquer is what we used to call it, nail lacquer brand, but then eventually they got into nail care also. They've always been into nail care, but by the time these things got introduced to India, it was kind of like the first of its kind range in India for all kinds of nail issues. So I loved the brand because not just because it was fun to work on, but also our client was very collaborative. They didn't ever say that, hey, just do it. They were like, hey, let's brainstorm together, let's work on this together, let's understand insights together. So that is one brand that I was really happy working on, and the client was also amazing.
One brand like will sit on your head, right? Like the horrible experience working with.
A lot of brands, actually.
If you are comfortable, like you okay to share, like mention the brand.
I'm not going to name the brand, but also there are a lot of brands similar to this one. We have worked on this brand, I don't know, since the beginning, since the time it came to us. We were like, okay, let's crack this. We have done everything under the sun for the brand. Make videos, make GIFs, write stories, use vectors, use humans, suggest shoots, take, for example, footages from stock to stitch the story together, but they have not liked anything for over 6 months. We kept on giving them ideas, but they said nothing works. Apart from that, the client was very rude. First of all, they didn't have direction on what they wanted. They were not able to give us direction on where we should take the brand. Like I said, the client was pretty rude. Apart from that, he was also sexist. If women are giving ideas, he'll be like, hey, I don't think this works. But if a man is giving ideas, however bad the idea is, he was okay with it. There are multiple clients I've come across where they're like, hey, we don't want to work with women, which is really bad. I mean, women make, I don't know, more than 40% of the workforce now. So, yeah.
Right now, equally like 50-50, almost like everywhere,
Yeah, and
men and women also.
it's not like women are not making sense, but they don't want to hear that from a woman's mouth. Even though, for example, I had done research for this one brand, I had also suggested, not this same brand, but another brand, I had also suggested how we should go about a landing page, where we should have the CTAs, what should be the flow, everything. But he was like, hey, I don't want to listen to this from you. I want to listen to this from this other person. He's naming my colleague, and I'm like, but I have worked on this. He's like, unless he's not there on the call, I'm not going to have this discussion. And obviously, it is offending because you put in all the work hours, and somebody else is going to be taking the client through it, and obviously, they are going to get the credit for it, which is wrong. So, yeah, there are clients from hell, if I must say. But there are also good clients like OPI. So,
like in between, we are discussing something. You mentioned like the AIs came. When the AI came, people start talking about AIs will take over our jobs.
yeah.
So, in particularly, AI introduced in copy, I guess. ChatGPT so help people to write copies. So at the time, how it was felt, like what do you think about that AI, in especially ChatGPT?
To be very honest, AI is handicapped in a way without human assistance, right? Because you have to put the right prompts for the right result. If you don't put the right prompts, you will not get the right result, and it's not copywriting, right? Say if you want AI to give you a result for a report that you're making, what year should it consider? Where should it pick data from? Do you have any suggestions when it comes to sources? All of those things. I mean, what kind of report do you want? Do you want graph? Do you want, just numbers? How are you going to work around it? I'm just saying top of mind. I mean, if you don't give the right prompts, you will not get the right results. So AI is nothing without human assistance.
I'm not completely agreeing with you because AI will reduce your working time. That's what I feel like.
It will. I'm not saying that it is not helping us in what we are already doing. Maybe something that takes 3 hours will take 30 minutes. But again, putting in the right prompts is important, right? I mean, AI is nothing without the right prompts. And because you have worked a certain number of years in the industry, you will know what kind of results you want from AI. So if you don't put the right prompts, AI is going to give you basic results, and it might not help you in what you were wanting to achieve from the chat that you're having with AI, right? So prompts are important. I'm not saying they're not helping us at all, but again, it's not going to take over our jobs because it's us who know. We are the ones who know what kind of prompts we have to put in. And again, the knowledge of that comes from experience. So yeah, it is a complete circle. It's one is not complete without the other, right? It's like that.
Okay, actually, you using AI now?
Yes, I am.
So what are the AI tools you use for?
I do use ChatGPT, but sometimes I feel because obviously the free version is not up to date. It's easier to use Bard by Google because one, the results are from Google, right? And we all know that Google has been here for 25 years now. I think the anniversary just went by yesterday. I mean, Google knows what Google is telling you, right? It has done I don't know how many studies, and so much of information has been fed into Google, and everything, even asking for opinion, what slide format looks good, Google is going to help you. I don't think that is the result I've seen when I've tried my hand at ChatGPT. I have completely moved to Bard because the other day I was wanting like a really nice presentation format. I went to SlidesGo and I picked 3 presentations. I was like, if all of these 3 look good to me, I need help in selecting the right one. I just put the 3 links in Google and I was like, please help me pick this for a particular brand, I said. And then gave me, it suggested one, it gave me a reason why it's suggesting it. Then it also said the other 2 are also nice because say it's vibrant, it has all the icons, yada yada yada. So yeah, I mean, it is that helpful. It's as good as having a colleague to discuss things with, right? So yeah, and it reads a lot of things. ChatGPT does not read links, as far as I know. Google reads links. It goes and it does that research. You put in a link and say, give me an essence of what this link is talking about, and Bard does that for you. So yeah, that's.
So apart from this, like, you have any other tools?
I don't use a lot of copy tools. I know there are available, but these are very handy, right? So these are the ones that I use. I mean, there are other AI tools. I mean, there's Midjourney that's going to help me come up with great visuals, but again, it's paid. So what I do is I write visual directions. I tell my designer who has Midjourney account, I'm like, just use this and maybe get out the right output from it. So I know that people use AI. I have used AI for say some presentations, like there's no time to design on a pitch. I can't give the designer the brief right now because I'm just done with copy and we have to present, say, tomorrow, second half. I go to these free design AI tools and I put in the inputs and I use it. But I'm not as frequent a user of those tools as I am of ChatGPT and Bard.
So we are currently working on an agency. So agency always looking for the one step above the best. So like in a day, how many social media post copy you can create?
Manually or with AI?
Manually. Forget the AI. Now we're done with that. So manually.
I remember closing 30 post calendars in a day.
Like you can finish almost half calendar in a day.
I have done full calendars.
Okay.
I shouldn't be saying this. People have a lot of high expectations from me when I say this. But yeah, that's not, to be very honest, a good environment to be in. Because, hey, this is due tomorrow. Please do this today. A lot of these requests come in and they are not a healthy way to work, to be honest. So yeah, give people at least 3 days. You'll get better copy, is what I feel.
If they give time, like in a day, how much you can do, like, copy? It's all social media posters.
Again, it depends from how well I know the brand, how many times I've done the same thing. If I've made 5 calendars before in the past, I'm obviously going to take shorter time to create because I know the buckets, I know the tonality, I know what works for the brand, I know what works for the audience. So with all that knowledge, it's easier to make it faster. But you need to, if it's the first time, obviously it's going to take a while. I mean, I'll close 5 posts the first day. But if I've got a hang of the brand and if everything is getting approved and I know what direction to take the brand in, 30 posts are easy. They come by easily, especially for fun brands.
I want to start with this question, but I forgot that. So, how much copy is important?
It is very important. I mean, you can put up a design, but there are brands who do no copy post, right? It's just a design. But what do you want to convey out of that one picture or out of that one design, out of that one, a proper setup of things that you've put together in the image? What do you want to convey out of it? The post copy is going to tell you, right? If it's going to be blank or it's just going to be hashtags related to the brand and the hashtags are not even telling you what the image is about or the design is about, it's incomplete, right? I'm just posting a design. What do I want to tell the audience? What is that one thing, that one takeaway for the audience? It's not going to be possible without copy. This is just social media point of view. But even websites, I mean, You need to tell them where the homepage is, where the about us is, where the contact us is, and to complete that, you need copy, right? You need that content to be on the website. You can't just scroll through designs and figure out what they're trying to say.
But I feel like some of the brands doing the design a lot, they have like very minimal copy. How you see that?
But there is copyright.
Yeah, absolutely. Without copy, we can't convey the
Exactly,
message.
you're answering your own question.
Okay, in a social media post, like usually we scroll through very fast, right? Like, how much text copy in a post is good enough to convey the message?
2 to 4 words. If you go anything beyond it, you are over explaining. You are not giving that the reader or the user or the viewer or the audience, whatever you want to call it, that space to interpret something from their point of view. Every individual is different, right? Your life experiences are different from mine. You will interpret a certain message in a different way. I will interpret it in a different way. If you over explain, you are trying to tell them this is how you should think. You're not leaving any room for them to think. So keep it minimal, put out the point. If you want to keep it witty, smart, fun, whatever tonality that you use, just keep it short. Let them understand what you're trying to say. It is very different when it comes to scripts, right? Scripts can be long, can be short. You can give the entire story from background to conclusion in the script. But when it's social media, and especially when the brand is pretty known, just leave it to the audience to understand what you want to say. But yeah, that's why keep it short. I mean, put out what you have to say, but let them interpret what it is. If I'm wearing Puma shoes and they have like a particular copy for someone regarding the fit and the quality and everything, let me interpret it from my experience of what I have had so far with Puma shoes, right? And not force a thought on me or anybody for that matter. So yeah,
I hope you follow a lot of brands in social media, right?
I
Like,
do.
you do, right?
Yeah, I hope I do. I hope I follow
How much
them.
time you use for social media?
I have timed my Instagram for the day to be 30 minutes because it does take up. We all know it's addictive, right? Be it reels or be it posts or anything. So yeah, I try to limit my time to 30 minutes. I do follow these brands that cover. Like Social Samosa, for example, they cover a particular brand, a particular idea, or a particular campaign. So following them, I obviously get updates on those campaigns, and then if I find it intriguing enough, I will go and do my own research on Google about the campaign. What was the insight? Where they come from? Have they won any awards or all of those things? So yeah, I do follow brands, but I also follow these brands, the platforms that have actually become brands, who do cover activities by other brands. So it's easier for me to like follow fewer accounts but have information about what's the latest trend going on social media. So
You use Instagram, everything. So you might come across some brands like the copy is really doing good. So I want to work with these brands like that. You have anything in mind?
some brands get traction because the copy is doing good. Sometimes they just do a great job. Sometimes there are brands who have done a great job according to themselves, but then they're cancelled by people, right? Because it didn't go well with certain people. So again, copy is very subjective, to be very honest. We look at a particular piece from a particular point of view. Like I said, again, experiences matter. Individuals, what they have had to do with the brand matters, because that's how it is. I mean, I will write a particular copy because I am thinking in a particular way, because I come from that particular upbringing, background, studies, education, whatever, and that kind of people. But you will interpret it in a different way, right? So it's subjective. That's why we have a lot of these conversations with clients also, where they're like, hey, I don't think this is the right thing to say. And then we have to question them why. There was just one client who said, why are we using the word delight, for example? And we were like, because it means joy, happiness. And they're like, no, but delight is related to desserts, sweet dishes, cupcakes. I will get delighted by a cupcake and not by an offer. But again, they have studied in a different way, and that's how they look at a particular word or a phrase or an incident or situation or uh, a particular copy eventually, but we look at it in a different way. We know the language deeper, right? Because they are copywriters. I'm hoping most copywriters understand English well, that they can take a stand with these clients that, hey, this word is used because this is what it means and this is how it fits the entire story that we're trying to tell out of this copy. So again, it's very subjective. I don't want to say that there are brands who are acing it. We all know Nike is doing a great job with copy, with their thoughts, with their scripts, but maybe the same thing will not work for a smaller shoe brand, right? Because their TG is different. They have come from a different background. Again, like, I mean, what I'm trying to say, it is very subjective. I might like Zomato for the way they write, but you might not like them because why are they talking in half sentences? Why are they not using capitals? Why are they not using, full stops? And I'm just saying. So again,
I was about to ask, like, I really like Zomato, Swiggy, Dunzo. These three are like doing they are playing with very minimal copy, minimal design, and the creatives come out really nice and attractive. Most of the time, people love their creatives.
Sometimes the creatives just have words. They don't have anything else. It's just background with copies. So.
That's too simple. Like most of the time, the creative one creative have like 2 to 3 words, 5 words like that only. Very very minimal copy. So like I have another question also. Like some brands going like very very minimal. Some brands like
are very cluttered.
So how you see this? Like they put so much information in a single frame. So like how you see that?
Like I said earlier also, if you put too much, you're trying to tell them, you're trying to make a particular point. But if you are saying little and leaving it to people's interpretation, it's great. That's what I think copy should be like. Minimal is what everybody is doing because one, if it's relatable and minimal, I got your point without having to explain too much. You said what you have to say in 4 words. I got it, I liked it, and it's done. Another thing, the relatability plus again the time span is short, right? If I'm scrolling through Instagram, say, between during tea time, I don't have more than 10-15 minutes while I'm, I'm sipping on hot tea, and my tea is also not going cold, but I also want to scroll through for that, take that particular break in between. If it's very short, it's just easier for me to consume. I have seen it, understood it, liked it, and I'm going to the next post. So minimal copy obviously is. If it's long copy, I personally also don't read it. I just read the headline. I was like, why are you explaining, after this one paragraph and everything? I also don't look at it. Like, I am a millennial. I am not Gen Z. But again, my time span is also very short. My attention span is very short on that particular post. I don't spend more than 2 seconds max. So, you do what you do in 2 seconds.
It's not about millennial or Gen Z. Like people once get into the internet, they are like too quick. They don't want to read much.
I would beg to differ, because if you give a long post to my father or my mother, they will spend more time on that post, even though they are working, and they have like very little time in between work, life, and all of that. They will do that. They will, I don't know, before sleeping they spend. My parents sleep at 2 a.m. because they are scrolling on the phone, they are reading, they are watching long videos. We don't have the patience for that. I think our generations are, I'm sure when you go to a generation after Gen Z, I don't know what it's called, but yeah, they will have shorter time spans, their attention span, and obviously they'll be like, I need this quick, just tell me in 2 words what you want me to do. If it appeals to me, I'll do it, otherwise I'll move on. So yeah, that's how it's going to change. The pace is going to increase, it's not going to decrease for sure.
Father and mother have some patience, or have curious, or they used to read long scripts, but in our generation and upcoming generation, we don't have that much time, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Time is reducing as generations go by. We want a lot of things in a short time.
You get inspired or from someone's copy, right?
Yes, obviously there is inspiration, and everything is a copy of a copy of a copy, right? Nothing is original. Somebody somewhere sometime had it in something. There are posters doing the rounds on Pinterest. There are ads from 80s and 90s, and I don't know, maybe even the 50s, where things worked, and maybe we can take inspiration from that. There are also these old ads that have not worked, they have been derogatory. For example, an ad somewhere sometime I read that said women belong in the kitchen. You can't do that anymore, right? So it's not just taking inspiration from somebody who's done something in the past, somebody who's done something right in the past. It's also learning from what they did wrong, right? So yeah, all kinds of inspirations we do take and learn, and then give out the product. The output is the learning of all your research and what you have learned, even in school. There is also a lot of unlearning that we do, because the world is moving forward and we are becoming more broad minded, more progressive than we were, say, 10 years ago also. So all of that learning, unlearning, inspiration comes from what you consume and where you consume and how you consume it. So that is obviously there.
Okay. Do you have like any particular person, like he or she wrote the best copies, like that?
Copy wise, I'm not sure, because now again advertising has become very cluttered. Almost every other person calls themselves a copywriter. But yeah, there is a lot that you can learn. But again, there is a lot of unlearning from our seniors that our seniors also have to do, right? How they train you, how they mentor you, how they teach you right from wrong. And even they need to understand that what they have learned, because obviously they come with more experience. What they have learned, say, 15 years ago is not the same anymore. So walking with the times is important in this industry, because industry itself is very fast paced, right? So yes, there are mentors in the industry, but I am very inspired by J.K. Rowling's writing. I Whenever I pick up Harry Potter, like the series, I can't keep it down. I will have to finish the book in one stretch. Yeah, obviously not the thicker ones, but the first few books were really, like, I still am amazed the way she used to write and how she writes. I know there is a lot of controversy around how she's done things, what she thinks, etc., etc. But yeah, yeah, her writing is amazing.
Okay.
I would want to write like her.
Do you have any plan to write books?
I did start when I was in my 9th standard, but then yeah, we all know we have your SSC boards. I had that. Then getting into college, starting to live the life that you wanted to live from the time you were a kid. So yeah, I did. I don't know where the script is anymore. I'm sure it's somewhere in. I don't know. I don't even know if it exists, because last I saw it was when I was still living with my parents. This is when before my marriage, uh, and then there were a few floods and a lot of things have, they had to throw out. So I'm sure that script has gone out. But I do remember what I was writing, and I would want to start that again. Yeah, there are plans, but I'm not sure when it is happening.
I'll be happy if you start writing after this podcast.
Okay, I will try my best.
You might start your work at 2008 or 10, around that period, right?
I started in 2011.
11. What is the entry level salary, like without any experience? How much did they pay for you?
So my salary was pretty similar to an intern salary. It was 12,000. But now I think people who have graduated and immediately joined, I think they are earning around 30,000 entry level salary as a copywriter. But yeah, if you have done your masters, then you'll obviously have a better leverage over others. So anything between 35 to 45 is what you get as an entry level copywriter now.
Okay, like people go abroad and come back. How much will they get for copywriting?
As good as a master's. Yeah, it'll depend on first year degree and obviously second, how you write. I mean, even though I know that people have gone abroad, not necessarily that they are great writers, right? Not everybody writes good English. Yeah, everybody writes good English, but not everybody is a good copywriter, is what I would want to say.
Like apart from copy, there are some values still if people going abroad. Like some companies, agencies see the actual copy what they write. They don't see the degree behind the names. But other way, in some places they like if you go if someone went for Canada, they should have some extra knowledge like that. So how you see that?
Again, it's going to be very different. Okay, they might have extra knowledge, yes, but is it applicable to India? If it's not applicable to India, and you're trying to apply what the way Canadians think copywriting should be, and the way India thinks copywriting should be, if you're trying to apply those rules to the writing that you do in India, it might work, it might not work, because again, it's different from between agency to agency. Also, there is no particular process that you follow, particular way that you write. These are the things you should do, these are the things you shouldn't do. Nobody defines it. It's different from agency to agency also, so obviously it's going to be different from country to country, right? So yeah, and plus in India now we are doing a lot of regional vernacular copy. We are not sticking to English anymore. Yeah, there is a lot of difference. It might work out for some people in some agencies, it might not work out.
Okay, actually, I was about to ask, like, right, in the past few years, like say 5 years, regional content creators in high demand, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
Whenever some startups or brands come up in a small scale, they want to do digital also. Like, the regional content is growing fast, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what's the future?
I think English is here to stay, because there are multiple brands who want to cater to, say, the creme de la creme of the society, right? They just want to reach out to people who are sophisticated, in other words, posh, who are people who come from backgrounds that, have spoken, written in English. They would want to cater to that kind of an audience, because that's the kind of product or service that they provide, and these are the kind of people who they reach out to, or who they want to reach out to. But yes, regional language is, it's the present, it's not in the future, right? It's happening right now. Okay, if you're not making, say, separate films for separate regions, at least you're dubbing that one particular film in different languages, so that you reach out to every pocket where your audience is available. So yeah, it is the present, and obviously it's going to be the future. It's going to get better. It's because they want to reach to even the remotest person in India. Like,
Again, everyone is in internet, so brands try to connect with the audience using the internet, I guess. Once you completed your first job, right, you move to another agency. Like at the time, how much hike, like what percentage of hike you asked for?
I didn't ask for a huge hike, because I was naive. I didn't know how much to ask for. Even though I asked people were not very open about it. Today also people are not very open about discussing salaries, but you should, because maybe you are at the same level with some other person, and maybe you are earning way less, say 50% less than what they are earning, just because you don't know how to negotiate or how to ask for salary. So yeah, I didn't ask for a huge hike, or I actually asked for a huge hike, but there was a senior who was earning that amount of money, so they didn't want to put me at the same level as that person, even though my skills were pretty similar to that person. Yeah. So yeah, that is one of the mistakes that I made, but I make sure now that salary is more transparent, thanks to apps like Glassdoor, Fishbowl. Even on LinkedIn, sometimes they put like a salary bracket, and now peers are more open to discussing salaries, because we all know that, hey, if we deserve to earn a particular amount, then why not do our research and let's talk to each other about it. So it's pretty open now, but earlier people used to not talk about salaries, so nobody knew about what the other person was earning. So yeah, I mean, I know that your offer letter or the terms and conditions will be mentioned in such a way that you don't discuss salaries, but I feel it is important to discuss salaries. Everybody should know what to ask for, and what is the trend in a particular industry and for a particular role when it comes to commercials. So yeah, it is important to discuss
Okay, like
salaries.
you're not sure about like how much percentage you got at the time.
I don't remember, yes, but I remember that I'd quoted for a particular amount, and then they said we will not be able to match it because somebody else is earning this who is higher than your level.
Okay, like let's say like in 2023, someone is moving from one agency to another. How much percentage the copywriter can expect?
40% is what I tell people to ask for. This is a trick of the trade which I don't want to tell on podcast, but ask for 40%. Industry standards are usually 30 to 35%. They will come down to that amount, but start from a higher amount. This is applicable to all industries and segments. Start from a higher amount, and then you might get what you actually should get according to industry standards.
Okay, like before Bangalore, where did you stay? And
I was in Bombay. I'm born and brought up in Bombay.
okay.
So yeah.
So like in comparing the salary, like did Bombay paid well or Bangalore paying well?
No, I think Bombay doesn't pay as good as Bangalore. But they should, because the rent is higher over there, and most people live on rent because property is high over there. I mean, the price is high property wise. I don't think most people can afford to have their own flat in Bombay, right? So industries, agencies, places who are hiring across, not just for copy roles, they should understand that, at least from the city's status or lifestyle or the way it runs, people should pay more salary in Bombay compared to Bangalore, because wherever you live in Bangalore, I mean, you can still get a house below 20,000 in Bombay, in especially pockets where these agencies are there, like Andheri, there is Fort, there is Lower Parel, and also Goregaon and areas around there. Rent is expensive. It's pretty expensive. So
Pretty in the sense like how much? 30, 40, 50?
30 to 35,000 for a 1 BHK is the last I know. After that, I don't know if it's increased or not. But yeah, even in New Bombay. So I used to live in New Bombay and travel all the way to Bombay for my job, for all the jobs that I have done so far. Because New Bombay was cheaper. Now again, that place has become expensive. So yeah, traveling from New Bombay to your job, changing trains is a hassle. It takes a toll on your mental and physical health. So it's easier and better to live closer to office. But if your office doesn't pay enough, you will not be able to afford the rent, and obviously you'll have to look for a place far away. And then again, it's the travel issue, right? Yeah, Bombay should pay well, is what I would suggest.
I personally feel we should not travel more than 15-20 minutes
I agree.
For work. So that's why we found some PGs close by and we got one. I think you traveled a lot in the career.
Yeah.
Hopefully you hate the traveling.
I do hate traveling. I used to love it because I used to get to do my own thing. But the day is over. I mean, you're spending 8-9 hours in office and 3 hours over that, which is 12 hours outside of your house. There are a lot of, so you're not resting, right? You're constantly anxious about, will I catch my train on time? I hope the train doesn't stop in between for technical reasons or because of rains or something like that. Because I don't think Mumbai will ever have less crowd. Even in first class, so I switched from second class to first class because it used to get too crowded. And I personally have an issue with proximity. Even before COVID, I don't like when people are. I mean, we are all. I know we are all. I know I come from a place of privilege also when I say that I can afford the first class. But yeah, it for other personal reasons, I don't like when people are too close to me. So that's why I chose to travel by first class. But even first class is crowded. So and again, that forget about being crowded. Sometimes you are out on a shoot and you are spending your full day standing and you want to sit, you don't get a seat to sit, and if you're traveling 1.5 hours one side, you're constantly standing. It's going to affect your physically and mentally also. You'll be frustrated saying, hey, I don't have that. I now even though I'm not traveling a lot, I have that thing that, hey, now when I'm done with work, I just want to run back home and I want to just lie down, say, for even 15 minutes, because it just helps me, you know, rejuvenate from whatever stressful day I've had. So that if you're gonna go from one stressful, thing to another and then to the next, because ghar jaake you have to also cook and do other things at home, right? You have to look after the house, you have to look after your family, and it's obviously not my job alone. My husband also does it, but that you have to keep on stressing. There is no moment of rest. That's why traveling, I think, if you keep minimum, you will at least reach home, take that breather before you get on to the other task. Otherwise, there is no breather and it's just going to drain you physically and mentally. So,
do you think like if you're spending extra money, it's okay to get like 30 minutes to rest? Like if you're saving, if suppose you're paying 50,000 near close to office, instead of traveling for 1 hour, that's fair enough.
I know you would want to pay a little more for your mental and physical health, but sometimes it doesn't work out for some people. Tell me how many people will earn enough so that they pay 50,000 rent and then save some money for whatever future needs, maybe save some money for tax benefits or whatever. How many people do you know will be able to manage that? There are people who have kids who can't, because yeah, it's school fees, and there are other activities now because we have international schools. So all of that, I mean, again, if you don't have that backing of that money or that saving, it's going to be stressful. So in one way or the other, it's going to be stressful for you. So you might as well. That's one of the reasons I switched cities, because I don't want to live closer to office and pay so much rent, and how much ever I earn, I have zero savings. What's the point? So might as well do something for yourself. I mean, if I have to move from Bangalore to another city, I would do that. I'm definitely not going back to Bombay.
How much you like Bangalore? Like, do you like Bangalore?
I don't like it much. There are a lot of things that was convenient in Bombay. Like you just, walk out of your building and, walk, take another lane and you will have like a vegetable market there. Go a little further, you will find your chicken and mutton and everything over there. But here, everything is online. I don't know till it comes home whether the quality is nice or not. Yeah, I mean, it's not that convenient. And there is street food, but it's not everywhere. Like Bombay, you again step out of the house and you have street food, right? And it's cheap. I mean, I'm not paying $50 for a vada pav, I'm paying 15. So, yeah, that's how Bangalore is right now. But Mumbai is convenient, it's nice. It's overcrowded. That's an issue for me, especially. Yeah, Bangalore is okay weather-wise. Mumbai weather is crazy, humid. Yeah, Bangalore weather. I think weather is the. I know the viewers will also agree that weather is the only thing that's great in Bangalore.
Even I feel the same. Like the weather is too good here compared to Chennai. As a copywriter, right, in the beginning, I mean the first year, like what are the advantage you have at the time? You are a senior right now, so you have to do something, whereas a junior no need to do.
No, I don't think so. I have been pretty hands-on on what I have been doing, because I don't want to lose touch on, what So what I learned, say 10 years ago, when I started copywriting, I mean, I was in digital, but when I got into copywriting, I can say it was 10 years ago, things were different. And we all know that digital is evolving. Say, it used to evolve every 3 months, now it's more frequent, right? Every week or two, you will see a new feature on even WhatsApp. I think there was some new feature right now. They got those channels now. So yeah, you have to be pretty hands-on. There's no escape. The learning has to keep going on. There were no advantages. The only advantage was that I loved English and people loved people with good English, right? So that was the only advantage. But that learning is not gonna stop in any way. And another thing was, for me at least, it was easier to understand briefs. There were sometimes in my career where the senior said that, hey, this is the brief, and I have said that, no, I think this is the brief. But we eventually go from their way of thinking, and then I realized that, hey, what I was saying was right, but because they're a senior, they're like, no, we are right. So those things have happened in the past, but I make sure that I learn from my mistakes also and my boss's mistakes also, so that I don't repeat the mistakes that they have repeated, and I make sure that I keep um, myself more open to opinions and suggestions from someone else, because that's how you learn, that's how you understand. And sometimes you feel that you have evolved, but you realize that you are far behind from what you know, because you were very closed in the way you were thinking, right? So there is no advantage apart from understand the language. Rest you will learn on the job. And yeah, you have to keep learning. There is no stopping, and obviously keep an open mind.
I'm a video editor, so I might learn the new tools. So you are a copywriter. What you learn?
So writing is not enough, right? If I don't understand how a reel works, just an example, I will not know what to write for it. If I don't understand how a broadcast channel works, I will not know what to write for the brand, right? Uh, I have to know the platform before I write. Again, this is not blog writing that's for my personal growth or because I love to write. I'm writing for a brand. I'm writing for a particular platform. I'm writing a particular format. So all of that comes with learning each of these things, right? You will understand the brand tonality. Only then you will be able to write like the brand wants to talk. Once you understand the platforms, you will know that these are the characters, this is the character limit for this particular platform. This platform will make you write formally. This platform can be fun. All of that. Formats, like I said, you will have to understand formats better, so that you know that, hey, frame wise I have to divide this, I have to add a CTA, I have to give a compelling headline, I have to give like a very strong introductory frame, and then also give like a concluding frame, or maybe I have to write in a very short form. All of those things you are constantly learning, right? Like I said, social platforms are evolving every week, every 2 weeks. So understanding what the change is, also understanding what the user journey is, all of that is learning that comes from what you do every day. It's not just writing. Again, another thing, people say, hey, it'll take 2 minutes for you to write this, but it won't take 2 minutes for me to write. Even if it's a sentence, I have to again think of the brand, how the brand talks, where this is going, who is going to view it, how are they going to interpret it, what should be the next action. All of that has to be thought. It's not a 2 minutes job. When you have to write one sentence, all of this comes with writing that sentence perfectly.
So, like being a copywriter, what are the challenges? Like
Things that brands don't understand. I know, brand managers become brand managers due to the qualification, but they most of the times they're not hands-on, right? So that explaining somebody why we are doing something for your brand, it is most of the times it is a challenge, because again their lens is very different. The way we look at it is very different. They might not come from a digital background. They might not understand. They might only understand traditional ways of advertising. They might not understand these modern ways of what we are doing. That could be a challenge, and it most of the times is a challenge, because like I don't know if I should say this, but like India is a very young country. It's run by politicians who are very old. So similarly, advertising and the brand side is run by very old people who think very traditionally, who uh, don't feel the need to. There are clients who have been in the industry for over 25, 30, 40 years, but they still make sure that they are up to date, and sometimes they know better than you do. There, but that's very rare, right? So yeah, those are the challenges that you have to explain your job to someone.
Until I start my editing in an agency, I don't know, like people, someone is there specifically for writing copies. In 5 years, like how you see the copy writing, and especially for yourself?
It's very unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
I can't say. I didn't define what I would do 5 years later. I don't know what I'll do 5 years later. Maybe I'll leave copywriting, advertising, and I'll do something in food because that's my first love.
Okay.
Or I will leave that and I'll do candle making because that's what I was doing during COVID. I didn't leave my job, obviously. I was candle making on the side because I loved it. I was passionate about it. So yeah, I don't know what's in the future for me. I might want to be a CD, senior CD, or ECD, NCD, whatever, all of those things, and eventually become like a CCO and be the highest boss at least. I'm kidding. I don't think I want to do that for sure. I do want to do writing. It could be anything. It doesn't matter because now I've seen everything in a way. So yeah, I mean writing for sure, but not sure if it would be advertising. But for the advertising industry, it's very dynamic. I can't predict, you know, what's gonna happen 5 years down the line. Maybe you will, I don't know, like I said, we do need humans to put prompts for AI. Maybe we'll create some super AI that gives the right prompts to a junior AI. Then you will not see this hierarchy. I'm kidding, like I mean, I'm just saying things that I feel, but again it's very very dynamic. You don't know what new feature is going to come 2 days after, say, that broadcast channel, or what they're doing. I don't know, I think that they're called broadcast channels only on WhatsApp, the new channels only, right? So Instagram did that recently, and then WhatsApp also, they brought it on WhatsApp, right? That's a lot of content bombardment happening. If they do it on another on one more platform, I think I'll quit all platforms. if we're going to see content creators everywhere, then I mean, yeah, you have your own way of creating content, but you can't be. I don't want to see you constantly, right? Like for you, you are a content creator. You're going to bring out one podcast a week. That's interesting, but you can't constantly keep bombarding me on WhatsApp that, hey, watch my podcast, hey, this is a snippet, hey, this is a trailer. That's going to annoy me. People might get annoyed and quit social media altogether. I don't know. Or maybe it's going to get interesting. So yeah, like I said, it's very dynamic. Anything can happen tomorrow. So
Someone who are fresher want to do copywriting, what will you suggest? Like, what's the process properly get into copywriting?
I would say whatever your field of study, if you don't have an understanding first of the field, don't get into it. Because people think it's just writing. It's not just writing. And whatever we've discussed so far in the podcast, what copywriting is about, it's not about just writing. I've given this answer in interviews also that, hey, not everybody can be a writer, right? Maybe everybody writes, the people you're hiring write well, but if they write in their tonality for your brand, it's not going to be the right way to go about it. So you have to first see whether they fit or not in what you want, what your expectations are from them, and also if you are hiring somebody who is passionate about, I'm just saying, who really likes Shakespeare, tries to write like Shakespeare, but you hire them for a BFSI brand, it's not going to work. So yeah, I mean, it's both ways. You should know what is going to be there when you think of copywriting. The person who is hiring should also know whether this person is going to fit in the kind of brands that I have to give. So it works both ways. For copywriters, if you've not done a course maybe in copywriting, even I have not done, I learned it on the job, but it was easier then. It's not as easy now, right? So maybe do like a diploma or something, or do a degree in mass communication, or all of those things that they do nowadays, digital writing and all, and then come to the field.
Basically, you are saying you do some degree or courses related to writing, then get into the field.
Yeah.
If it is suits you.
Yeah, because if you can't change quickly from BFSI to food to medicine to back to BFSI, then fashion, if you can't switch your brain immediately, it's not going to work for you, because digital at least is very fast paced. So yeah, I don't want to be negative, but yeah, it's difficult to switch if you're stuck with one way of thinking, and you need to don multiple hats when you're a copywriter. So
Okay, I think we discussed a lot about copy. So I'll last one more question. Okay, so like in today's world, like most of the people creating their own content, how you see that? Like, what's the future in creating the own content? Like how it leads, like where it goes.
if you are different from what other people are doing, people will watch your content, right? If you're doing the same thing that 10 other things are doing, people will not watch. So make content, be a content creator, because I know eventually it does have a lot of money, and if you keep doing what you're passionate about, it will eventually it becomes like a way of living, right? It's in you, it's inbuilt, it comes naturally to you. Then do it, but you have to make sure that there is a different element in what you're doing. Only then will it grab people's attention, will it get more eyeballs, it will make people curious about what you are bringing to the table, how you are different, why they should follow you, why they should give their precious, that short time that they have to you. So yeah, be different is what I would say, and only then will you get what you are expecting out of what you're doing, basically. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Okay, like apart from this, you want to say anything to the viewers, like especially on copywriters?
Keep yourself open to feedback. It could come from anywhere, not necessarily just from your boss. It could be a junior, it could be a fresher, it could be somebody who's seen more world than you have. So be open to people giving their opinions. Again, it depends on you whether you want to take it or not, whether you agree with it or not, but keep your mind open. Put your point forth, but keep your mind open.
Okay. Okay. Actually, last time I did the podcast with my roommate. So, like he asked one question for the next person. So you are the next person.
Oh my god.
So like he asked, like if you are following something, some rules, some beliefs, someone is offering something. For do you break that rules for that offer is great? So I'll give you an example. You don't eat non-veg, okay? If someone is giving some like I don't know what exactly, offering something much better than this, will you eat non-veg like that?
Okay, I'll give you my example, my personal example. For religious reasons, I don't eat pork and beef. But I'm not going to stop you from eating. I'm not going to, say that, hey, don't sit beside me and eat it, because I don't eat it. But I will politely refuse it, because I'm not saying that, hey, I will give up, all my 34, 35 years of belief and faith. And there are reasons. I mean, even people from the Muslim community don't eat pork, and they will not eat pork, and they will be very polite about it. They will not say that, hey, I'm not going to eat with you, or I'm not going to go out with you because you eat pork. They will say that, hey, I don't eat pork, this place serves pork, let's find another place. Why can't we also be polite about, hey, thanks for the offer, but I don't eat pork and beef. So maybe if you get chicken or mutton, I will openly eat it. Or if I get something, maybe I will share that with you. But let's just agree on this thing that I have a particular belief, you have a particular belief. I will not force my belief upon you, so don't force your belief upon me. But again, we can be polite. We don't need to get into a fight saying that how could you dare to, offer this to me. Just be polite about it and refuse. It's fine. I mean, it should be, the person also should be mature to understand that they are from a different background, they come from a different belief, and not everything that they do or say or offer will be accepted by everyone, right? So I hope I'm pretty clear about it.
Yeah, I understand. Like you were saying, there is no need to change your characters like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like there is no need. There are some times where you have to keep your belief aside for whatever reason. Maybe you are doing a better thing by unlearning your belief. But again, it matters what the situation is. It need not be applicable to every situation. So, yeah, you have to gauge what the situation is and whether you want to take that step or not. I mean, I'm sure people are mature enough to take those decisions for themselves.
I don't know who is joining next. You just tell one question, they'll answer on the next podcast.
I would like to ask this person, whoever it is, what is your favorite ad that you have seen in the recent past and why?
We'll keep that question aside. Can you answer the same question?
um, okay, this it's not favorite, but I really liked the way it was done. I have forgotten the brand. It went live, I think, yesterday. Oh, this is Malabar Jewels. They got both Alia and Karina to do this ad. The transitions were nice. They covered a lot of TG. They covered almost every aspect of gifting. Um, they were pretty much on point. And I think, I don't know if Alia is the new brand ambassador, but Karina has been their brand ambassador for a while. So if they're transitioning from Karina to Alia, they have done it well. I don't know exactly because I saw it only once. I would want to, watch it again and again to see the brilliance that it has, but it was really nicely done. So
We are done with the podcast. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for the valuable insights, experience.
I hope they were valuable.
I guess like I usually don't talk with people much. So via this podcast, I start talking with people. So personally, I feel this is more valuable for me at least. Those who are into the copywriting field are those who want to get into the copyright. This will be very useful for them. So thank you so much for the valuable time.
Thanks
You
for
shared a
having me.
lot.
I tried to share whatever I could. Thank you.
So actually, the time we are running out of time. That's why we are closing. So otherwise, we have a lot to talk. So
Yeah,
if
there is a
possible,
lot
we'll
to.
sit again.
We can do part two for sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Neelam.
Thank you. Thank you, Raj, for having me on this.